Welcome to American Christian or Christian American. If you please hit that subscribe button and the like button, it helps the videos get shown more out on YouTube. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to get the videos faster. So today we're going to talk about one simple video, one simple concept. I'm going to break that down. So let's see the video and then we'll talk.
Talk about Mr. O'Brien himself, his behavior. As everybody knows, and it's here, and the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish you was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
No, stop it.
Is that your solution, every
Hold it. No, sit down.
you're a clown.
Sit down.
Look at you.
You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough of contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
mic.
you because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet.
Hold on.
You challenged me to a cage match,
No, no,
acting
no,
like a
sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold it.
bully.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Hold it. No, excuse me. I have the
I
mic.
will say exactly.
Senator Mullen, I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about, of course I
And,
did.
and let me show you his hearing, because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
If you're not pointing at me, that's disrespectful.
All right.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I respect
don't
people that
respect you at all.
respect. So
All right, hold
let
it.
me
Hold it. No,
You're one of
no, hold
100
it.
of the most
Hold
elite
it,
people
please.
acted.
Please. All right? This is excuse me. This is a hearing to discuss economic.
Okay, so I want to talk about Senator Mullen and his behavior, but I'm not excusing maybe necessarily some of the union president either. I don't know all that was said there, but I got a feeling that there's an important thing to point out facts. And yes, he's right in pointing out a CEO, but to degrade somebody, I don't approve of that either. But what I want to focus on Senator Mullen for, he's an elected official, elected by the state of Oklahoma, and he challenges his union boss to a physical fight. Now, he's 47 years old. This took place approximately a year ago, I believe it was. So you've been about 46. He's a grown man. But yet he wants to sit here and have a physical fight with this person. How does that work when you're supposed to be a grown man? There is nothing grown about sitting here and challenging someone to a brawl to resolve an issue. The issue isn't resolved. All you do is make yourself look more foolish. Of course, you don't look foolish to people who think like you, which is what many times white society has done. Now, he is Cherokee to some degree, but he certainly is acting like white society. He lives like greedy white people do in this country. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be in a reservation or anything else if you're Native American. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he flows right with white society and the selfishness, the racism, and the greed. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which Tulsa, Oklahoma, has a history of having a massacre against African Americans there, which we'll talk about. So here he is, supposed to be a leader, and Bernie Sanders points out, you're a United States Senator. That's exactly the point. He's representing an entire state. But you see, when you don't, a lot of times these bullies, when they can't win arguments intelligently, they sit here and try to bully their way. And this is the thing we've got with white supremacy in this country. The last video we talked about Japan versus America and how African Americans felt safer. And we talked about this boxer who won, beat everybody, and now white people rioted and killed African Americans. You see, when you are wrong like that, when you are a bully as far as racism goes, that's all you've got. You can't come up with intelligence to say that I'm superior. You can make up lies and try to keep people from believing them. You can keep people from knowing things. And I'm going to put another video in here. You can try to keep people down, but that only works for so long. So what do you do when you can't keep people down anymore? Let's look at another video clip.
My beautiful black people, let me hit you with something that really shook me. Why were white folks so obsessed with stopping black people from learning how to read? Not just for control, but for the monopoly on narrative. Because if only they could read and write, then only they could shape the stories that justified racism. And that's not just history, that's strategy. Systemic oppression. Oh yeah, that's you, player. For most of modern history, race and gender weren't just taboo topics. They were banned from dinner tables, erased from lesson plans, and labeled too sensitive for the workplace. Remember that old saying, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. That line used to piss me off. But now, I'm thinking, maybe they weren't hiding anything. Maybe they were just buying time, cooking up systems and isms to create the very stats they'd later use to say, see, we told you so. But I hate to break it to you. We can read now, boss. And guess what? We've got TikTok. So we're not just reading, we're broadcasting. We're peeling back the curtain with receipts. Let's talk numbers. In the 90s, 56% of black Americans lived in the South. Around 38% of black kids today are in two-parent households. In 2012, 327,000 students enrolled in HBCUs, but only around 2,000 made it to the top-ranked one. By 2021, only 6.1% of public school teachers were black. And in 2024, just 23% of black influencers even cracked 50K followers. You put all that together, those stats, that struggle, the silence, and you get me. A voice with no TV show yet, but a mission. And a mouth too powerful to shut down. Because truth is, they never wanted us to tell our stories. But now we've got the tools, the talent, and the timeline. And honestly, all it takes is one authentic voice to flip the whole script. And if you're still here, if this hit your heart the way it hit mine, like it, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's turn whispers into waves. Let's make algorithms pay attention to truth. And this is what happens when you give a mic to the people they tried to silence. I'm your sister, Lindy Way, the nationalist.
First of all, white people in this country control the narrative. They brought slaves over. We got to keep them from learning to read. Now, here's the interesting part. They said that they were inferior. So why are they worried about them learning to read? Something doesn't fit. The fact is they weren't inferior. They were just uneducated. And they didn't want them to become educated because then they might figure things out. So this country has, throughout its history, worked to control the narrative, worked to keep people down, worked to keep people unemployed, uneducated, unaware, make the laws work against them. But When all else fails, be a bully. Like in the last one, we talked about the boxer again. When all else fails, we can't prove that we're superior, so let's kill some. Let's knock them down. Let's make them afraid. The senator is no different. Let's just bully our opponent. That's what this country's been going on for years. And he comes from Oklahoma, where the Tulsa massacre took place of affluent black people in the country who created Black Wall Street. So, same mindset. They were doing too good, they're doing better than us, so let's wipe them out. Now we got this video of this woman talking about the fact, well, we're out there now. We're talking about this stuff. We're putting that stuff out there. And so, what is the response? More bullying that will go on. The way the government right now is trying to cut programs, trying to keep people down, cutting social programs, cutting Medicaid, trying to cut things away from different learning institutions like PBS, and trying to control Harvard School, telling them what they can do, and they're resisting against it. All about control and power, all about being a bully. That's all this thing is. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example. If you haven't looked her up, you should look her up. She's a doozy. She makes stuff up all the time, and then she just is a bully. And then she'll make fun of Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes. I mean, she just absolutely ridiculous, absolutely childish person. And you can kind of excuse the people who elected her the first time because maybe they didn't know how ridiculous and childish she was, but they keep electing her. So you're dealing with childish people electing a childish person to represent them. This is not the kind of behavior you should want in your leader. She's childish, she's racist, and she's a white Christian nationalism. She'll tell you that. She won't admit to what white Christian nationalism stands for. White Christian nationalism stands against black people. It stands for white supremacy. It stands for power. It stands for control. But again, that's what this nation does. Now, it's not the United States was the first one to have it. We've had different things. We had kings and queens who were bullies in this country. We've had all kinds. I mean, this is not new, but that's what they use. When you can't come up with an intelligent conversation to talk and debate something, then you bully somebody in order to get your point across. If I'm going to lose the debate, then I have to use my brute strength to bully somebody, which proves that they are not superior at all. They simply are acting out childish behavior so they can have power over somebody else. Just because you have brute strength or you have political strength over somebody else doesn't make you superior. It just makes you abusive. It makes you an abusive person who doesn't have to be right, actually, just right because of the force of your fist or the force of your ability in political and economic power. That's all it is. And that's what this country has been based on, is by its ability to abuse, to brutalize, to dehumanize, and degrade people. From the very beginning, bringing slaves in this country. From the very beginning, taking the land from Native Americans and slaughtering them. From the very beginning, winning parts of the West from Mexican people who were already there, conquesting it so you can build America. Brutality and bullying is what we have been made from, okay? Now, we can't improve until we stop accepting bullies, including the senator and anybody else who's elected. Mitch McConnell made it his goal to make sure that Barack Obama did not get a second term. That was his goal for Congress. That was his goal. A bully. Just wanting to keep things the same. Just wanting to keep the black man down. And just because he has an Asian wife doesn't mean he's not a racist. Mitch McConnell is very, very much a racist, like most of Washington, D.C., both Democrat and Republican. Although Republicans have been the most dominant force. And they have been, throughout the ages, controlling the narrative. The ones who shouted the loudest in the past about democracy. They're not shouting so much now because they're trying to follow a dictator. But they never were democratic. They always tried to control the narrative. See, we believe in democracy as long as we can draw the lines and ensure who votes. We believe in democracy as long as we can keep certain people from voting. We believe in democracy as long as it's only white men who own property, who are affluent. We believe in democracy as long as we can keep the upper hand on the population, that white people are superior and there's enough of us to maintain power. Of course, we believe in democracy in those situations, but we don't believe in democracy when other people could resist us. So they don't believe in democracy. Now, let's be fair that before President Roosevelt, the Republicans were not the issue. It was the Democrats. You see, the Democrats were the ones who were the Southern Democrats, all with all the racism going on. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a change. He came out with some different perspectives because of the Great Depression. But in order to pass some of those things, he had to segregate America on these particular issues that black people would not get the benefits of certain issues, including he was not allowed to bring universal health care across because they didn't want black people to have that. They wanted them to die off. We've already talked about that. So, but this was the beginning of the shift, that the ultra-conservative, the deeper racist people would shift to the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party would become more what we consider the Liberal Party. But still, in today's society, many of your Democrats are bought and paid for by corporations. So they're not really here to serve the people. They may be a little bit more in one direction, but they're still not here to serve the people. There are progressives who are really trying to serve the people. We have to think about who we're putting in office. Do we put in these people who are bought and paid for? Do we put in these people who uphold the racist national country that we have? Or do we start thinking for a change on what we do? Do we stop letting the bullies control everything that's going on? Or do we try to get people elected who can sit down and have intelligent conversations, discuss the issues, and really start thinking what's best for everybody? See, everything here is slanted towards supporting white people, supporting the rich and powerful, and supporting white supremacy and white control. When are we going to have enough? When will you realize, if you're a white person, that white supremacy isn't good for you either? It actually keeps you from becoming who you're supposed to be. You could be the best when you are actually with other people, like a beautiful painting, a beautiful masterpiece of all the different shades coming together and forming a gorgeous masterpiece. We are meant to be together. We are meant to work together. But this hate and this ridiculous notions that we carry is sick, and it needs to end. We need to do better. We are all created by God equally, and we need to all be equally under God. If you try to say that you trust in God and God you trust, but you twist his word in order to gain advantage, you don't trust God. You trust power and control. You can't be with God when you go against him and you try to control the power and the narrative, when God is the one who sets the narrative, and it's God's power who we follow. Until the next time, on American Christian or Christian American, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. Be blessed.